there's this intuitive, heart-driven kind of thing that is behind art that's very different than you know, an intellectual position on an issue. You know, that's a very cerebral kind of approach, and I think the thing about art is it can bypass the head and go right to your heart.
I heard the voice of God, and I heard the voice of God through the voice of Louis Armstrong, and that was my music during my childhood and my adolescence. Popular music, I mean disco and all that went on when I was young. That was, the others did that. I was jazz.
Sometimes I incorporate, like in the inside of my rings, I will write like a Bible verse, or I'll maybe choose a kind of unexpected verse. I gave one to a friend that it was like the bit where it says that you're worth more than many sparrows. It's quite funny because she's not like a believer or anything, but she loves the whole idea of like this verse, and she tells everyone about it. I work a lot with universal symbols because in every different culture they have like similar meanings. Water can be kind of a symbol of rebirth and positivity and like renewal and growth and baptism and things like that, but it can also be a symbol of destruction. Jesus could have just said, well, imagine that I'm just kind of like immersed in water, or imagine that I'm baptized, but he had to actually do it.
This is just my stuff. Circles, colors, lines. I just remember how we draw or how we paint at school when I was very, very small. Russian factories, Russian soldiers, red stars, no horses, no flowers, no rivers, no father, no mother. Now we paint industrial, and everything was about fear.
I think my service for people is I want to show that Christian people can be original and can be free. In our band we don't play Christian songs, but I think in all our songs is good message.
You know, it's interesting, as creative people, we always want to identify ourselves as artists. I mean, that's just the thing. And I feel like I've gotten to a place in my life where I'm really interested just in being a really good person. I mean, a good citizen, you know, a person who's caring and developing community. And what I always try to remember, though, is that it's important to be rooted.
I don't have any formal training in this. I've grown up loving wine, and I've been around people who are amazing winemakers. And I use it in a way that I would use paint in my studio. I'll start to kind of pull it together to develop some sort of creation. Something that's well developed, it's interesting, something that's got true character that will last a while.
The work that I'm creating is completely intertwined with the exploration that I'm basically having as a spiritual journey or a faith journey. It's definitely not out there on the canvas for other people to read just blatantly, but I think that it's there.
For me, if you're listening to God, if you're actually able to listen to what's inside, then you can just start living the life the way you want to live your life and start doing the things you want to do. It can be a prophetic thing. You ask the Spirit to just... Well, no, you don't even ask, man. The Spirit just comes and your art, your performance becomes a gift to the people, symbolising something to them.
How important is it to you that your music can touch other people? Or
It's essential. If it doesn't touch people, there's no reason of being in front of them. As a performer, you have to have a real responsibility for what is inside. Because whatever is inside of you will hit and enter somebody else.
My drum beats, I write them, so it's a very personal and expressive, thing for me as well. Matt is, he's a bass player in the band, and he's very much the kind of manager, kind of organizer. Timmy is a dear friend, and he plays lead guitar in Six Artel, and Timmy's a very wise man, and always has a really level head. David sings in the band, and I've known him since I was 14. I think that love for people, regardless of what part of Belfast they're from, or what country they're from, or what race they are, or what faith they have, I guess it's kind of just breaking down divides, isn't it? So you're actually effectively playing two instruments, cymbals and drums together. I guess if the Bible is kind of based on love and what love is, and respect and community, I think if you really dwell on that, kind of take that into your everyday life, it does break barriers down, it breaks walls down.